Final race on our special HKIR preview show is the Longines Hong Kong Vase. It'll be actually the first race on race day, race number 4. Before we get into this year's field, let's look back on the 2018 running and a titanic tussle between Exultant and Lys Gracieux.
I always believed he could run the distance, that wasn't going to be a problem. But whether it was up to the class of some of the other horses in the race, that's what we were going to find out, and we did.
She was a very good mare back in Japan up until she comes to Hong Kong. And what she's done since then, it's outstanding. She's a really good mare.
But I was pretty confident. But I always thought that the biggest rivals would be the Japanese horses.
Gates are open and they're off and racing, and Prince of Arran a little slow and wayward. Exultant has pressed forward, so too Riven.
Tony said if he begins well, like he does, I suppose, with most of his horses, to try and take advantage of that. Of course, I didn't think I'd end up in the position that I did.
Crocosmere makes play, leads by half a length to Exultant second, Riven is third. They're not breaking any real fast sectionals here.
He's just one speed horse, and if the pace is slow, we'd be in trouble, you know. But once the pace is on, if there's no pace, we go on, we take it on. And Zach knows this horse so well, you know. He gets himself out of trouble too.
Lys Gracieux third last, and she's a little bit keen with a real slow tempo.
I had to get going a little bit earlier, and because other horses around me actually end up pushing me a little bit farther wide than I wanted to be.
Volgeist is locked in on the rail. He's going to need some luck and some room to move. Latrobe next. Then came Lys Gracieux. She's peeling to the outside and starting to wind up as they approach the bend. Mirage Dancer onto her back, and then Eagle Way. A Prince of Arran. Crocosmere cornered in front from Exultant. There's naught between them.
Once she presented herself going past everybody else, I actually thought she was going to run away.
Here comes Lys Gracieux, Pakistan Star, then Rostropovich further back to Eagle Way, Latrobe, followed then by Prince of Arran. Lys Gracieux raced up to Exultant. It's Exultant and Lys Gracieux.
Whenever any horse goes past you in the straight, you tend to think that it's over. You don't expect them to kick back, but you know, he lifted himself off the canvas.
We thought we got beat already, you know, but Zach kept going. And horse had a fighting heart. This is how we won, you know.
Exultant and Lys Gracieux, a real cliffhanger in the buzz. Exultant fights back and wins for Hong Kong.
At the time was such a disappointing for running second, but when we look back from that far away, I'm very pleased and proud of being on board of such a great mare.
There was plenty of depth in the field. There was no fluke about his win. He did it the hard way, he did it the tough way, and he got the job done.
Well, like I always said, you know, the big one that counts the most. It's a satisfaction. Very happy. I've been very lucky with some of these good horses too, and hopefully he can do it every year, you know.
So Exultant is back to defend his crown. There's no Lys Gracieux, but there's plenty of depth to this year's field. With 14 headed to post, Exultant will jump from barrier number 14, Glory Vase, Joe Moreira, barrier 7, Aspetar for Roger Charlton, Southern Legend, Young Rascal for William Haggis, Frankie Dettori in the saddle, Call to the Bar for France, Prince of Arran coming out of a Melbourne Cup second, Charlie Fellows the trainer, Eagle Way, Ho Ho Khan for Hong Kong, Deirdre Lucky Lilac from Japan, then True Self, Anthony Van Dyke, this year's Derby winner from Epsom, and down to Mount Everest as well. There is plenty of depth to the field. Now, well, let's start off with the defending champion, Exultant. Brilliant last time out and gets up to, I assume, his best trip.
Yeah, and he's been racing well. You know, he's not very big, but he's proven over the last couple of seasons he's got big lungs on him. He's got the heart of a lion, and you know, he just doesn't know when to give in.
Yeah, he's certainly proved to be the best of the local horses, Brittany Exultant, but it's just a case of how good the visitors are this year, I suppose.
My biggest question for the defending champion, could be the most likely winner of the 4 defending champs that we see coming back, is how much that last race took out of him, purely because of what Zach Burton had to say after the race. He said, I'm worried that this was too much of a gut buster.
Last year he had the Cox Plate winner in second, Valgeist, the Arc winner, was behind, so he's an elite horse, and he can beat you in various ways now. He's not that one-dimensional grinder that he looked for a while. A question for you, Neil, is, I know it's a 1.5 mile race, but you wouldn't be choosing 14 if you had a free dip at it, would you?
No, but it's a long run to the first bend past the winning post. So you know they've got plenty of time to organise themselves. And the thing with this horse Exultant is that he doesn't have much early speed anyway. So he normally gets back a little bit. And from 14, they're probably going to race they're going to race 3 deep. So he's going to get in behind something.
Great to have Derby winner this year in Anthony Van Dyke lining up. Now, it was a blanket finish at Epsom this season. He was unlucky in the Breeders' Cup last time out. He's a class act, surely.
Yeah, he's top class 3-year-old. He's gone to America from there. Actually, if you look back on his Epsom win, he kind of had to duck and dive a bit, and then he ducked back to the inside, and you know he won well, and he showed a lot of tenacity. So since then he's improved quite a lot, and you know I think when he went to America he's a little bit unlucky, you know, not to have won. And
you were there, Brittany, trackside for that run.
I think he's a gritty horse, and he ran into a probable Horse of the Year candidate in Bricks and Mortar who's been undefeated in 2019. So to no fault of his running into a bang-up horse, and with that tough trip, he's a strong candidate here. I mean, post 12 doesn't bother me going the 1.5 miles, and I think he can sit whatever trip he really needs to.
What of the other European runners, Graham? We've got Young Rascal, Prince of Aaron, True Self, coming out of Australian runs, Called to the Bar as well. Players?
I think Aspetar's interesting. He seemed to take a big step forward when he won his Group 1 in Germany. Great angle for his young rider, 19 years of age, Jason Watson. He'd be the youngest guy ever to win an HKIR race. I think Japan have an interesting horse, and forgive me, Glory Vase, Glory Vase.
We're here, we'll say Vase.
I think his best form...
You come to America, it's Vase.
Yeah, his best form gives him a definite chance. And the thing that might creep under the radar, he has Joe Moreira for the first time. I find that really, really interesting. So keep an eye on Glory Vase, stroke Vase, at a price.
We will do indeed. Aspetar, you mentioned him, so let's hear from the trainer, Roger Charlton.
I think he's. I think he'd be fair. Would struggle in a Group 1 race in England. He won a fair Group 2 in France, and then you know he's an owner-bred horse, so it's important for me to build black type for the mare and for the family, and it's a good family. And you know, we having won a Group 2, it didn't seem a lot of point in trying to win another Group 2 with a penalty, if you like. So we found a Group 1 race. It wouldn't have been the strongest race, but he won it pretty well. And you know that was 2.5 months ago, so the timing is good. So this would be a natural sort of progression. I think he just needs to, you know, come on again to beat the best of them. But I think it's an open-looking contest, actually.
Roger Charlton looking for his first HKIR winner. Cities came very close. Aspetar might be the one, maybe, with Jason Watson in the saddle. Who else is on your radar, Brittany?
You got the 2 Globetrotters and Prince of Aaron and Deirdre, and between them about 70,000 miles over the past couple of years. And when a lot of horses ended up in the Vase, probably to avoid Almaty in the Cup, Oisin Murphy encouraged the connections to run Deirdre in the Vase. So I think that says a lot.
Yeah, and he was quite hard on himself. He thought he should have won in Ireland, Graham.
Yeah, she's a terrific filly. I'm sure she'll run well. She ties in very closely with the likes of Anthony Van Dyke. Just a word on the O'Brien horses. It's a very unusual Hong Kong record for Aidan O'Brien. Of course, Highland Reel, 1-2-1 in this race, a very unusual horse. Aidan's other 14 HKIR runners, you'd need a pretty strong pair of binoculars to find him in the straight. It's a very hit-and-miss record overall.
All right, pretty good record for horses coming out of Australia. True Self and Prince of Aaron have trained in the UK and Ireland, coming off good campaigns in Australia. But it's a deep race, Graham. I think there's lots of angles you can take, but which is yours?
It's Glory Vase at a price. Exultant is super solid, but I think this is a very closely knit race, and he has the potential to be a short price. So we know he'll run well, but there are horses in here, I think, who can keep him very honest.
What are you thinking, Brittany?
I think you could go so many different directions in this race, but for me, it's Anthony Van Dyke. Ran a super third last time out behind Bricks and Mortar. So for me, hopefully we won't need binoculars to find this O'Brien.
This one's a little bit trickier, Neil. You've got 14 choices here. Are you looking for the leg up on?
I'm just looking through the field and thinking, could I get my legs over 2 of them? At least 2, because it's quite a tough race to work out, this one. But I think the home team can keep this Exultant. He's got the heart of a lion. He just doesn't know when he's beat. So I know Zach said he might have had a good buster last time, but look, Tony Cruz, the top trainers in Hong Kong, they know how to prep their horses to defend the crowns, and I think he can. The others, Glory Vase, Deirdre, they're going to give him most to do, I think.
Oh, you said 2, that was 3, but there you go.
Wow.
I think Exultant as well is the one to be. I'm really
Strong
interested though
handful
in Young Rascal. I think he could
Yeah.
be maybe the fly in the ointment.
He's the best horse this week.
Frankie Dettori in the saddle, maybe a final flying dismount from Frankie on Sunday. As far as the diary is concerned, well, we've got the 4 Group 1s on the weekend. The first race is 12 o'clock on Sunday, so an earlier start. The Vase is the first of Group 1s. Races 4, 5, 7 and 8 for the big ones. It should be a terrific day. You'll be watching it from the sidelines, unfortunately, Neil, but it's still a wonderful thing just to be here and just experience the atmosphere.
Yeah, it is. It's amazing when you see the amount of international racing people all join and come to Hong Kong for this international racing meeting. So it's okay. I'm not in it, but it's still going to be great to watch. It's fantastic, and like if you look at last year, the home team took them all, so maybe they'll do it again.
They may well do. It's been a great buzz all week, Brittany. I'm sure you've enjoyed yourself so far. There's still more to come.
Oh, absolutely. I can't wait. It's flown by already, and I know this is a fast-paced city, so that was bound to happen. But I'm just really thrilled to experience racing internationally because it's so different. You can soak so many things up when visiting other race courses. And from here, this is an elite facility, incredible horses, horsemen, and riders. So it's been a pleasure thus far.
Yeah, and Graham, so many stories, so many different angles. Zach Purton with 3 incredible rides, and he rides a defending champion, another one in Glorious Forever. He could have an exceptional day, couldn't he?
Yeah, it's a hard gallop. My problem has been trying to gallop with Group 1 company this week, but I'll rally for Sunday.
I'm lucky to have him.
And overall, for many, many years, but especially this year in Hong Kong, this is the day when Hong Kong shows its sporting face to the world, and I can't wait. It's going to be super.
Yeah, no, it will be brilliant. And thank you guys for your input today, and enjoy the weekend as well. But that's it. That's the show. Thanks for watching. Hopefully we can count on your company again on Sunday for the Turf World Championships here at Sha Tin.